We acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the traditional owners of this land, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. It's happening. I'm so grateful, but we have Lara Watson, our amazing Indigenous officer, on the Bulletin today, and I have to preface this with, this is a safe space for people who cry randomly, okay? Because Lara and I both like to cry randomly.
All the time.
And like the more emotional the conversation, we like love each other, so we may cry. Okay. Lara, can you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us about your role within the ACTU as well?
Sure. I'm a Berry-Gubba woman from Central West Queensland, and I've been here at the ACTU, I think it might be coming up 6 years now as the Indigenous officer. So I originally put my hand up for the role because I knew the First Nations Workers Alliance was going to be established and that the movement was going to take a proactive stance around working rights of community development program workers. So that was a big chunk of the work that I'd done in the first few years being here, and absolutely overwhelmed to say that we won that campaign and we delivered wage justice to CDP workers.
Hell yeah. For the completely uninitiated, do you want to tell us about the Unions for Yes campaign?
Yeah. So this is, as we know, the trade union movement across the country have committed to supporting a yes vote at the next referendum.
Yep.
And the referendum is around recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Constitution, but also a seat at the table, so that it allows Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people a voice and can give advice to government on issues like policies and laws that are made for us, that we have some input. Because you look at the last 200 years or 200 plus years, and we are still in a very poor position, and the system in which we kind of live under has been quite oppressive for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. So there needs to be that reform so that we can have an equal footing. We have a capacity to access opportunities that everyone else has the ability to do. We're hoping, that will open up the dialogue of conversation and allow us self-determination around those matters, and be able to share with government how we've used other methods that have worked in other communities and how that could be implemented, in another community to help with whatever issue is their priority. Instead of just kind of sending someone into a community for like 20 minutes or flying over the top of it, and then going back to ministers and saying, well, they need this and they need that and they need this. We'll actually have the capacity to tell government exactly what is needed and what we think will help. Asking for a voice on things that are made for us. It's not complicated, it's not confusing, and I don't think it's a big ask. It's a seat at the table.
It's that simple.
Look at unions when it comes to EBA time, right? There's a process we go through. We elect our workplace delegates and our representatives, and we get together a log of claims, and then we go and we negotiate with that. So that's basically what we're asking for.
We've been hearing like Uluru Statement, voice to Parliament, like kind of all these different terms. Can you kind of like give us a bit of a rundown of what we've been hearing? What are the other ones? The Yes campaign, Voice Treaty Truth is another one.
And this is where people get confused, right? And opposition are very good at creating confusion.
They want that, don't they?
They do. I mean, if you're, what's the motto? If you don't know, vote no. So if someone's got a little bit of doubt or is a little bit confused, they're just going to vote no. So they have a simple role in confusing the message. But basically what it is about is recognising Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in our 122-year-old constitution. And you've got to remember, this is, you know, we've got the oldest living culture in the world. It's like 65,000 years. And all we're asking is recognition in a 122-year-old constitution, and a seat at the table when it comes to policies and laws made for us, so that we can have input on best practices and self-determination on those matters.
Yep.
My excitement in particular is around working rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Because there are still some really big gaps within the working industry that we just haven't been able to tackle because there's not that data that's being collected, or, you know, it's not a priority for government to address. And, you know, having that foundation, we have that capacity now to say what our priorities will be, and what we need government to act on. And that's going to be different all around the country. And, you know, that can never hinder us if we've got a solid foundation to work on. I think Australia's ready. I think they know enough's enough, and that there needs to be that platform for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voices. So I have no doubt that Australia's ready. My faith, though, my absolute faith in knowing that what government has committed to will happen is in the movement, is in the trade union movement. I know that if government tried to renege on anything that they've committed to, this movement has committed to ensure that they don't.
That they'll hold them accountable.
And so that's where my faith is, and that's why I believe we will win. One, I know the Australian public is ready. They're ready to have the conversation. They're ready to learn more. And two, the trade union movement is basically the political arm of workers that has been extended to First Nations people. I mean, we've got this really proud history of working in unions, but also unions supporting us in the issues that we want to campaign on too.
Who designed these beautiful, incredible pieces of...
So I've done the artwork, and I called it Wadja Gathering.
Okay.
Wadja in Wiri, which is my language, means speech or word. It was kind of the closest thing to a voice. So that's, and the gathering is, you know, community campaign, unions, corporate, everyone. Australia could really stand behind this and know what it was, and know that we go forward for a yes as a collective, and we can finally have Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people acknowledged and recognised as the First Peoples, as a 65,000-year-old culture, you know, and a pride for all Australians.
A deserving pride, I am that close to bawling my eyes out.
If you start, I'm going to start. That's why I look away. I'm not looking at you.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so grateful for your time. I've got the goosebumps again.
Oh, sweetheart.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having a bit of a yarn and getting the message out there to some people who probably may not have known. Because we do have people out there that just don't know what's happening, and for many of us it's the first time we've ever actually had anything to do with a referendum.
That's true.
You know,
the whole voting. Constituent that didn't vote last time, or people
don't know that you physically have to write yes.
On the old piece of paper.
It's not a tick or a number. So the more questions people ask, the more informed they will be, and closer to a yes, a win.
It seems like a silly thing to say at this point, but like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching The Bulletin. I'm Kleo, and this is the amazing Lara Watson.